Audio check. Audio check. Audio check. Sorry for the reverb. Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Hybrid Theory Racing League. This is Realistic Division around beautiful Silverstone, and we have started the stream a little late as I was contemplating what to do. I'll get to that in a minute, but yes, this is me, Chip Suma, here as usual on comms. Unfortunately, there are hello Charles, hello Abhinav, Charles Leclerc, as that kid in Saudi Arabia said. Welcome to the stream, Charles. Abhinav, always nice to have you here with us. Would be nice, even nicer if you were on track. As you can see, viewers, unfortunately there are only 6 drivers on track today, and only 4 of them have set a time as of now. Shino is about to come on to the end of the second sector, and he's about to finish his lap as well. I think that is Shooter who's about to finish his first proper representative lap. A little lock-up going into Vale and Club. Let's have a look at what he can do coming onto the start-finish line, and he goes up to P3 ahead of Vifix, who set his time on the मीडियम टायर्स। नमस्ते अभिनव, क्या हालचाल, कैसे हो आप? बड़े दिन हो गए आपको रेस ट्रैक पर देखे हुए। क्या आपको भी ये गेम्स उतना ही नफरत है जितना मुझे है? लगता तो वैसा ही है, बट यस वी सी ओके जिष्णु विद अ नाइस टाइम 27.3. So yes, I was contemplating driving the car and doing live comms, but before I could do that, everybody readied up. So I think it's a sign from the universe, that somebody shouldn't be putting themselves through the torture of playing this beautiful game. As you can see, the big billboard there, which has just disappeared. F124 is not a game for the players. Nonetheless, none of the banter today. Stuart, I think you'll have to. There's this very dictator-like person called Yash. You'll have to get in touch with him, and I think he will be able to guide you on how you can join this league. Jin, I think that's an answer that only somebody, a true resident of Singapore, can give you. Charles, I agree. ना मैंने भी ये गेम नहीं लेना है. ये खतरनाक गेम है. As you can see, drivers struggling on the edge at all times. Okay, since we have we have more people in the chat, it seems, than we do on track. So you can tell me, what would you like me to do, viewers? Would you like me to speak in Hindi, English, with an accent? What would you like me to do? I can do some unique things today, given that it's only me on comms today, and the field is a little sparse right now, as by the looks of it. Well, Stuart, we should. Debatable. Most people have raced in the leagues they own as well. I don't think it can always end badly, but let's see. Nonetheless, English, speak like a pilot making an announcement. So unfortunately, I don't have that mic that will go all the way up to my lips, but I will try my best. So.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain speaking here. So we are at beautiful Silverstone, and we are going to witness the final 10 minutes of qualifying, and the weather looks to be a sunny 30 degrees out, and it should be relatively reasonable, I think. So buckle up, relax, and enjoy.
I hope everybody could understand that. I hope it wasn't too muffled and the auto cancellation didn't do too much. Q&A, okay. Q&A, you ask the questions, I'll try to give the answers, and if not, vice versa. I'll ask the questions, you can give the answer. Beautiful. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much. बड़ा अच्छा लगा. Caesar जी, आप भी आगे खुशबू लगा के. You have come wearing perfume. Very good to hear. Very good to witness. I hope you had a good meal today. I think you've sent a nice photo as well. So, okay. Jin, pros and cons. Pros is that we have F1 World, and I think that is the end of that. And the cons are F1 and 24. Best Everything else is a con. I mean, it has to be a con. You. How can these six drivers come on? Why are they spending their time on the track? Why aren't they in the F1 world room decorating it with brilliant items like cushions, cupboards, cabinets, door hinges? Why are they on track? Why are they not in their F1 world bedroom or living room, whatever? Actually, why not both? Why can't it be both a bedroom and a living room? F1 world is majestic, but this line from Basil is not, as he goes a little off track at the exit of Beckett's and onto the hanger straight. हिंदी इंग्लिश व्हाई नॉट कर सकते हैं हम ही हैं आफ्टर ऑल वी विल डू हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन नहीं चार्ल्स Charles comment a bit too late, but yes, Hindi English. I like this English style of comms. अच्छा लगता है. Somebody had a spin. I think that was Shooter. Is that? Yes, that is Shooter had a little moment. थोड़ी दिक्कत हो गई उनको as yes, all six drivers have sort of lap time. Vifix is really on it by the looks of it. I'm not sure if that was the best line to take through Vale and Club coming onto the Hamilton straight. What is going on with the yellow flag indicator top left? I mean, that shows the quality of the game. Look at this. The whole field is in one place. Fantastic. Six drivers, yet four of them are on the same bit of tarmac. Do a Redstone accent. I don't think, Stuart, we have some hope of being monetized in the future. I don't want to do that. So, not at the moment, unfortunately, but yes, maybe in a different setting, I certainly could. My best fake accent, Jin, you please let me know which kind of accent you'd like. I can try my best to do that without being too. Hopefully, I'll not be come off as racist, but I shall try. Give me a accent. I'll try to replicate that. It can even be something foreign, like say British, French, Italian, anything. You let me know. I'll try my best as we have three cars, soon to be four, as you can see the McLaren in the background there, coming up through Maggots and Beckett's. Basil moving out the way at Stowe to let Abhishek's, the only Ferrari on track today, and Shooter past. Shooter is going to dive into the pit lane with just under 6.5 minutes left. We have Noble Garter is in a very comfortable spot up front, but never mind. As I say that, he has been usurped by Abhishek's in the Ferrari. Always great to see a Ferrari on top. And in P1, Noble in P2, he is about to start his lap. So maybe let's be on board with him. While the kind people in the comments can let me know what they would like to hear me speak today. As we go through the first few section of corners, onto the loop goes Noble Garter. Nice, decent run through there. The rear end looks a little snappy for Noble as we switch to the cinematic camera for a moment. Onto the Wellington Straight, the first of two DRS zones on this track. And approaching the end of Sector 1, is he going to be up on his Delta? He is by 2 tenths. That's a promising way to go build up on the lap. Let's have a look through, I want to say Lovefield and Brooklands and Lovefield. And this would be Woodcote onto the old start-finish straight. I hope I'm right. Jishnu with a great lap. Unfortunately, it's just not enough to beat Abhishek. Through Cops goes Noble Garter. Throttle pinned to the floor there. His battery is draining out and he is absolutely at it on this lap. Going through Maggots and Beckett's fantastically. Has a nice exit. I think he carried a little too much speed there, but it might just work out for him because he's up by almost 3.5 tenths. That is exactly what he needs. The last sector needs to be just over a tenth of a gain of over a tenth for him. That would be enough for him, but I think he had a bad exit through Stowe and approaching Vale and Club. Let's be on board with him. Let's see what he can do. Into Vale. Oh, that's not the best one through there. Through Club, I think he has undone all the good work that there, and as you can see, he's down by 6 tenths on his personal best. So Noble having the pace but not having the tire grip to complete his lap. Jishnu has invalidated, but I believe all the others are going to come back out on track for their final run. So we have a little moment here to speculate. A great lap by Jishnu. We weren't able to really follow that as we were following Noble Garter, but nonetheless, it looks to be a nice competitive session, at least between the top three. I think those at the bottom of the pile right now, which is P4, 5 and 6, unfortunately. They will also be coming out on track very soon to give their best attempts at the lap. And as I can see, some part of the, I want to call it the light tower, what is that, timing tower, whatever that is glitching, as you can see on the reflection there from the paddock glass windows. Yes, any viewers in the chat, please let me know. Any questions, anything you'd like to ask. All your comments will be read today. So it will be a very interactive session. We will be ever eager to converse with all of you. And for any driver watching, if you would like to join me for comms, please do so. I'll be more than happy to welcome you to the comms box today. As Noble absolutely steams into the pit lane, he has to. This is the slowest pit lane in all of F1 for the most part, and there you hear the whistle to let the non-existent people in the fast lane, to let them be aware that there's a car coming down the pit lane. And we have 3 minutes left in the session, and I assume that every single driver will come out on track to give their final attempt as we wait to see who that will be. So, not much to commentary on right now. So we wait. What would you like to talk about, viewers? Maybe we can talk about... Okay, I see somebody out on track. Thank you for cutting out the awkwardness there. Who is that? That's a Red Bull, and I think that might be Jishnu. Jishnu has a lot in store, I think, but so does Shooter. He is currently almost a second behind Abhishek, but I think he will have something to prove here. Let's have a look. Which Red Bull is it? I think it's Jishnu. Could be Shooter. Who's the first one out on track? It is Shooter. Okay. So my hunch was wrong, and why is the camera still showing me the pit lane despite the car being at 3 corners down the road? Nonetheless, it's a fantastic game, mind you. Every single time, every single week in, week out, the game is absolutely brilliant. Behind him is URL Basil. It's a home race for him. He is in the UK, and look at that at the top left. Don't you just love to see a game where you just have no clue where the yellow flag indicator, what the yellow flag indicator is trying to say? As you can see, all the 6 drivers are on outlaps. As you can see, 3 drivers in the same bit of tarmac. They cannot afford to slow down too much, though, mind you. If they slow down too much, they will not get to the line in time. Yes, Stuart, what is your question? Very eager to hear your question. I hope it's nothing too troublesome that will get us in a spot of trouble. But please do ask away, Stuart. And viewers, please feel free to ask questions. I want to make this as engaging as possible. We don't have much action, but it will still be a very interactive session. Melody इतनी चॉकलेटी क्यों है? खा के पता चल जाएगा यार. खा लो कभी. Melody खाओ, खुद जान जाओ. I think that's the best way to put it. You're asking me a very impossible to answer question, Stuart. It's very difficult to answer that, but 45 seconds to go. We stopped buying F1 after 2021. That's a very good call. 22 was arguably the greatest innovation since sliced bread. 23 was fine, and 24, I mean, you can see what's going on here. You saved up enough to fund pilot training. Amazing. That's a much better investment of resources and monetary funds as well. But nonetheless, we follow all 6 drivers. They've all crossed the line in time, but this is going to be a bit of a problem for Vifix and for Shooter. It's going to be troublesome for Vifix because he will have the slipstream from Shooter, but he'll also get the dirty air from Shooter. So I don't know if this is on purpose or if this is just unfortunate, but he will have to deal with a lot of trouble. What's my skincare routine? When I get one, I will certainly let you know. But for now, it's just जो होगा देखा जाएगा. For the most part, yes. Let's have it. We fix in sector 2, and for some reason his delta is not showing up. He is up by 7/10. So what is going to happen here? What are these two playing at? Because neither of them are going to have a particularly good run if they are distracted by one another. Coming up to the line, Shooter and Vifix, there's a lockup there for Shooter. Will that distract Vifix? Will that be problematic for Shooter? Let's have a look as they come up to the line, and Shooter goes up to P4 and Vifix takes pole. So that definitely did not deter him. Basil does not improve on his time. What about the other Red Bull of Jishnu? He has had a spin. What about Abhishek? He moves out the way to accommodate Abhishek. What a great driver. Let's have a look at what Abhishek can do. He cannot improve by enough. What about Noble Garter? Let's have a look. Can he do something? He can go up to P4. So, once again, we have the top 3 separated by less than a tenth, and I think the top 4 are from 4 different teams. No, it is 4 different teams. So VFix in the Mercedes takes pole position, followed by Abhishek in the Ferrari, Jishnu in the Red Bull, Noble Garter in the McLaren. He's just under 2 tenths away from the leader. That's fantastically competitive. Shooters P5 in the Red Bull, just under 5 tenths behind, and Basil did not get a proper lap in. He is P6. That's the end of that. Let's have a look at the strategy and such in a moment. Jin is asking what is dirty air? I'm not entirely sure I have the best sarcastic answer to that, but maybe air pollution makes for dirty air. Yes. Codemasters have taught us there's no such thing as dirty air. That is true. It's a concept put forth by this this thing called Formula One, which go around 24 tracks in a year and 20 drivers race around. Codemasters are the best. They know better than anyone what the concept of physics is. And unlike the British weather, it looks to be sunny skies today for the race. Wokeness made of dirty air. Well, Jin, I don't think you should ever post that on Twitter, because that will get you cancelled, as 2024 says. Yes, level 10 Silverstone Gat. Let's see who will get the level 100 Gat, Jin, instead. Level 10, I think, is for the one who gets pole position. What about level 100? We have to think about that. Stuart, yes, I do get that. That's a great way to go. And we have the formation lap ahead of us. And as I can see, VFX has opted for the soft tires. Abhishek has opted for the hard tires, and Jishnu has opted for the medium tires. Wow. So, they do still want the win, mind you, even though there are just 6 people, they're all still eager for the top spot, as Abhishek's a bit too eager there. That is the ideal Ferrari, no, not telemetry, sorry. Okay, we have a McLaren going off track. Eno or Hajmola? Why not both? Why not both, Stuart? दोनों लगा के पी जाओ. Konnichiwa, Shrikant. Jin says this is a one stop. Could certainly be. What's the strategy like though? Do you go for a harder compound at first like Jishnu and Abhishek have done, or do you go for soft tires? Given that it's a very condensed field, you won't necessarily expect there to be safety cars as such, but never say never. There could, in theory, maybe be a scenario where I don't want to put that in the drivers' minds. We'll wait and see. Jin prefers soft over hard. Does that go beyond the racetrack as well, Jin? That's a question that one may ask when they are trying to be a bit sus, which I'm maybe trying to be right now. Let's see. Hard to soft is counterproductive. Well, let's see. Abhishek would not want to hear that, given that he is the only driver on the hard tires and he's going for a dive on Jishnu. So even before the race has begun, they are battling it. Jishnu was very courteous to let Abhishek go at the last corner. Abhishek is blasting past into his grid box. And let's have a look at his positioning. He's positioned it alright, but he has been reset. And I think Jishnu has been a bit too cautious there. What about VFix? Lines up nicely, does not get reset. Okay, and something's happened. DRS disabled. We have 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of all the drivers, and it's going to be lights out and they're off. It's not a good start for Abhishek as expected. He gets a terrible start. Jishnu gets a great start. So does Noble Garter. As into turn 1 they go further back. Abhishek has been swallowed up. But look up front, Jishnu is challenging VFix, going down the inside, they make contact, Jishnu has been spun around but he still continues on. down in P6. That is hectic and chaotic, but they're still in one place. Abhishek is having a terrible time on those hard tires. He should. I don't think he'll have wanted to take the strategy in hindsight, but look up front, Noble got it, and Shooter, Noble diving down the inside, and he makes his way past Shooter, or does he? Shooter's coming back for the offensive. He is trying to go side by side, and he is going side by side. Noble trying to get the better exit, but he does not. He's going to be under threat from Basil here. The home race for Basil, and the homeboy will want a good result. Going into cops, Noble's lights are already blinking. Is he conserving battery or is he out of battery? I think he's conserving battery. Look at Basil. He is absolutely hogging the rear end of that McLaren there. That is so close. And also up front, Shooter and VFix very, very close. What about Noble and Basil? Though Basil with a better exit out of Beckett's and going onto the hanger straight, going down the hanger straight rather. Will Basil try to make a move around the outside? Will he? He will not. Noble covers it off, but he will be a bit vulnerable into club and veil. Let's have a look. No, Basil trying to go for a move around the outside. Will Noble dive? He will not. Basil makes the move around the outside to go up into the final podium position. And yes, a little over ambitious from Jishnu, but I think there was a little more space. That he was entitled to a little more space as we have our first retiree from the race, and it's a safety. We have a safety car, guys. So viewers, there are 5 drivers left on track because one of them is just retired. Abhishek will be cursing his strategy call to go start on those hard tires, and he has left the session as well, so he is obviously very, very pissed at the situation. But up front, this is a very interesting dilemma for Jishnu. What do you do if you're Jishnu? What do you do if you're the soft runners? We fix Shooter, Basil and Noble. Do you box? Do you stay out? Is there a possibility for another safety car? And Shrikant, I think Abhishek has left. I would like for him to join in, but I'm not sure. Let me ask if he wants to join in. I'll ask him over on Discord. It would be nice to have a driver's perspective on the race as well. So let me just do that really quick, but while we do that, we will wait to see what the others can do. Let's have a look. They are going to dive into the pit lane. Shooter is not. Okay. Basil is going to dive into the pit lane and Noble is not. So the Mercs doing a double stack. Interesting. And they've left enough of a gap, but it won't really matter because they will come out 4th and 5th. Nonetheless, I think it's going to be hard, no doubt about it. And let me just ask Abhishek here while we wait and see what Basil does for his strategy. Hard tires. I've asked Abhishek if he would like to join. Let's wait and see what his response is. Abhi, please do join in. It would be lovely to have you in the comms box to get a driver's perspective and your perspective more so. You are quite the expert in these F1 games. Let's see. It's a questionable thing for Noble and Shooter, but you will have to ask, will VFix and Basil's tires be able to go the distance at pace? What's going on here between Noble and Jishnu? I think they just momentarily traded places. For Jishnu, I think it's still okay because he's on those medium tires which will go. His perspective was a wall. Well, your perspective was a little better for qualifying, Abhi. So I think it would be nice to get your view on how the. Well, I think from your. It's quite clear that the grip wasn't really there for you, but nonetheless, please do let me know if you'd like to join. I can invite you into the party right away. And you can join the session once again to give us your inputs. But do let me know if you'd like to join. Jishnu can make medium to soft work, but how good is your tire preservation? I think tire preservation, Jishnu's been reasonable at it, and there you go, the safety car is in this lap already. So this is perfect for the 2 Mercs. Absolutely perfect for the 2 Mercs. What do you do if you're the top 3? What is going on with that safety car indicator? Codemasters. I think that's what's happening with the thing. Codemasters is happening. Jishnu in P3 has a dilemma. Does he attack? Does he defend? Does he conserve? What does he do? Or does he stay in his own race? What do Shooter and Noble do? Shooter has got a decent launch. Noble's right behind him. That flashing of the safety car indicator is really distracting, but we are back underway. It is lap 4. We've already had a safety car and we've had our first pit stops as well. But up front, it seems to be the same order for now. Noble is really hounding Shooter, and these two will be pretty eager to make up ground on those at the back, because these two, mind you, have made their pit stop, Vfix and Basil. The Mercs are presently 1-2 because this is the slowest pit lane in F1, and the top three will have to pull out a gap if they want any chance of staying ahead of the Merc duo. It could actually be a Merc 1-2 provided they play the strategy to absolute perfection. This is a nice camera angle, mind you. One of the few good things about this game is the camera angle, and Noble has caught up. He's really close up to Shooter. You can look through cops. Actually, both Jishnu and Noble have closed up, and we're getting some great camera angles here, so that's good on you, Codemasters. Well done. Through Maggots, Beckets, and onto the hangar straight. Shooter's having to break the slipstream because Noble's right there using the battery. Will he go for a dive down the inside? He will at Stowe, and he doesn't even have to go for the dive because he's made the move before they even reach the corner. Noble got us up into the lead of the race. Will Shooter defend? Will Shooter go on the offense? Sorry. Will Shooter go on the offense? He will not. Is this really the best thing for them to be doing? Fighting and trading places? As I think Vfix and Basil had a little moment going out of Vale chicane. Both of them having a moment at the same corner. Those tires not really up to temperature right now. Those hard tires not giving them the appropriate grip. As Shooter goes for a move down the inside. Noble will try to fight it, or will he? Let's have a look. Which one of them will get the DRS though, mind you? I think it will be Shooter. Shooter's played this well, as even Jishnu's got past Noble. They are side by side down the Wellington straight, but Jishnu has the advantage. And there you go, both the Red Bulls had the advantage of DRS over the McLaren driver. Mind you, this three-way fighting is going to benefit the two Merc drivers, because they're right there. Despite being on a harder compound, they are still within a second of the leaders. That's fantastic. That is fantastic for their race. Mind you, these three will be vying for that top spot as well. They also want to make their strategy work. And well, the Red Bull 116 I don't think is technically possible tonight. But maybe a Red Bull 1-2 in the other order is possible tonight, as Jishnu was very, very eager to make the move on his teammate Shooter. And yes, Shrikant, Jishnu saying that he doesn't sweat the game. Well, let's see. Let's see how hard he fights his teammate Shooter, as Jishnu does get the fastest lap of the race. I don't particularly expect Vfix or Basil to be gunning for the fastest lap. I think their strategy should just be to stick within DRS of the cars ahead, play it safe, conserve their tires, and then just bring it home. That is the smartest way to do that. Conserve your tires now and save up the pace for later. Ideally, that's the best way to go about it. Jishnu doesn't. Some very friendly comments being made in the chat about drivers. We love to see it, as usual. Jishnu coming very close to Shooter. Noble Gata is also right there in the mix. He is in the middle of this sandwich. Well, he is the filling in a Red Bull Mercedes sandwich, and the top half of the sandwich is Red Bull, and the bottom half is the Mercedes. A lot of very nice comments being made here. Yes, I realized that when I said that, Jin, that's a nice way to pick up on this term. Oh, English, what a beautiful language you are. Noble's a bit too far back. I think he's not really enjoying his tires here. Everybody in the same camera shot, and only the last car has the helicopter cam. So there you go. All 5 drivers in very close proximity. Noble Gata seems to be the only one struggling right now, because Jishnu is feisty. He is a feisty little animal right now behind the wheel of that Red Bull here. And let's have a look We start lap 7 with the Red Bull still line astern, separated by just under 4 tenths. What can Jishnu do? Can Jishnu go for a move? Well, I think that is the case, Jin. By the looks of it, given as per the announcements we've heard today, yes. Let's wait and see. It is realistic division and realistic performance. Red Bulls are going to battle down the Wellington Straight. I don't think they are right now. Noble is big. Well, let me have a look at his onboard, Jin, because I actually haven't been onboard with any drivers as such. Let's have a look at him at the exit of the hangar straight. Noble's braking, because you're saying he brakes 5 meters too late. Let's have a look. I think he's a little... Shrikant, that's an impossible... I don't think I can answer that. Both are very, very intriguing choices, but this is the more intriguing battle at hand. It is Red Bull v Red Bull, and Jishnu is going to make the move. What about Noble? Will he be able to capitalize on this? The two Red Bulls ahead are side by side, mind you. Into Club and Vale we go. Jishnu goes for the dive. He moves up into the lead of the race. Look at Shooter. He is sniffing at the rear wing of his teammate. I think there might have been some slight contact. Side by side they go towards turn 1. Let's see how this ends for the two of them. Very respectful racing between them, and Noble's right there to pick up the pieces should anything happen here. So is VFix. He's gonna go for a dive. The two Red Bulls making some slight contact. This is incredible. The top 5 are, well, the only driver. Oh, Noble has made a massive mistake, and he has... Oh no. That's the end of that for him. But what about this up front? Shooter's going for the move, and he's made the move on his teammate. What about Basil and VFix side by side? The two Merc drivers. And I think it is Basil on top. No, it is still VFix on top for the time being, as VFix comes out on top in that battle compared to Basil. But no, never mind. Basil going for the move around the outside at cops. Will he be able to make it stick though? Let's have a look. Side by side go the two Merc drivers. Basil goes off track. I don't think he will be able to keep that position, even if he does, and he logically does not. What about Jishnu and Shooter? Wow. Oh, what a beautiful language English is, as Jishnu has a little slide there, little snap of the rear end. As will he be able to go for a move? I think he certainly will. Will he want to go for the move though? He does, and he has made the move on his teammate. What about Basil and VFix? They are gonna stay as they are. But still, look here, Shooter and Jishnu still very, very close. Let's have a look. Okay, my word, both of them had a good moment at the same corner. That would have been the absolute treat for VFix. These Merc drivers are having the race of their lives. They have 1 and 2 handed to them on a platter. And I'm getting some very amazing would you or would you not questions in the comments here. Jin, why not a mix of both? I think that's my diplomatic answer. As Shooter's not going to show any diplomacy towards his teammate here. He's made the move quite ruthlessly with the help of DRS, and further back I think Basil wants to follow suit on VFix, and they come very, very close, but I don't think they're going to attempt a battle here. Or will they? Last time around Basil did go for the offense around the outside at cops. I don't think VFX is gonna entertain that though. Jishnu on the back of Shooter. So mind you, the two cars in the tail end of this shot here, they have made their pit stop. The cars at the front have not, and they're all battling. They're all absolutely going for glory at this stage, and the two Mercs have swapped. Will they go attempt a move on the Red Bulls? I don't think they will. Basil has made the move on his teammate, but VFX is coming back for more. They're still side by side. This is some incredible racing that we're witnessing here between the pair of them, and Basil has to settle for P4 once again for the time being. A little snap there of oversteer, and he is relegated to being behind VFX for the time being at least. As Shooter still looking to find a way past his teammate Jishnu, who is holding on to P1 for the moment. Let's see. These two have traded places previously as well, and I think Shooter had a little moment there because VFX is really caught into the back of him. Noble Gata is slowly clawing back time, so he is still in this race, mind you. Nothing is over yet. It is lap 10. What about Shooter and Jishnu? Once again, there's a moment here, I think, where, oh, they made contact. They made some contact. I saw some sparks flying there. Yes, DRS is quite easy to keep. Dirty air is non-existent. Jin, absolutely bang on with your observations. Basil is out of DRS range. That is not what he needed to do. He needs to stay within the DRS window. Shooter and Jishnu, so supremely close, these two. It is really anybody's game here. They have not done themselves a favor by fighting, but they've done us a favor by showing us some great battles. And mind you, in all this, it is still possible that Vifix could overtake them on track. He will overtake. Okay, Shooter going for the double switch there, and he's made the move. But Jishnu has superior grip. Obviously, Shooter's tires are done for at this point, and Vifix is going to go for the offensive. He will go for a dive down the inside. Will Shooter be able to fight it? He will not. His tires have had it, and Vifix is up into P2. Shooter is squirming and struggling to keep it on track. He is in P3. Jishnu still holds on to the lead, but now Vifix legitimately is in P2. On track. He will inherit P1 nonetheless once Jishnu pits and Shooter pits. He would have inherited it, but still, Vifix showing some stellar pace as usual. What's happened to Basil here? He's had a moment. He's had a massive moment here. I think he just had a little squirt of the throttle, a little extra squirt of the throttle, and he's lost the rear end, and now he's going to be under threat from Noble Garter, who will also want to... Well, this is really freaky Mula won by the basis of what we've witnessed to over these past 11 laps, and we have another 15 in store. Always great to see. What about these two? Will these two be able to put up a nice battle? Up front, I do expect Vifix to put up a nice battle against Jishnu. Jishnu is still on the better tire compared to Shooter and Noble, but he will be struggling, mind you. His tires are not in a good condition either. They are 10 lap old medium tires, so they will start to show their age, and he will have to make a pit stop. It's a matter of whether he pits for the hard tires right now, or maybe he pits for the soft tires a bit later. Shooter once again having a moment. He is really absolutely extracting the most that he can out of these tires. He wants to make that soft to medium strategy work, but that will not really help him. Those drifts are only good in Tokyo, and the closest track to Tokyo is at Suzuka. So we are a fair ways away from that. At the moment, we are a continent away. But let's see what these two cars can do. Vifix and Jishnu. For the back, Noble can't really stage an offense on Baz. His tires are not really giving him any support, as are Shooter. Shooter's also struggling a lot. I expected to see Shooter and Noble maybe come into the pits this lap. But let's see. I expected them to come in about a lap or two ago. I don't think they want you to go for the hard tires. They want to go for the medium tires. Maybe that might be the right call. Who knows? Because mind you, despite Vifix and Baz having track position, their tires will be, I think, 24 laps old come the end of the race. So their tires will not be in great nick either. As Vifix trying to go for the offensive, he cannot do much right now, and his light is blinking. Will he go for the dive here? He has been known to make some aggressive moves. Shooter into the pit lane, and Noble follows him. I think that was a last minute call by Noble. He's just waiting to see what Shooter does. So I don't think Noble was intending on coming into the pit lane, but there you go. Lap 13 has begun, and two soft runners, the remaining soft runners, have decided to pit. Shrikant saying lap 18. Won't that become a little too late, Shrikant? Because Noble and Shooter have shown us that it's possible to go 13 laps on these soft tires. So maybe not lap 18, but I say lap 16 might be a good point for Jishnu to come into the box. He needs to have enough laps left to catch up to the field and pass them as well. So I think what he needs to do is just play his cards right. And 18, okay. Well, let's see. Noble is just exited the pit lane. I'm not sure what Jishnu should do at this point. He is really not in a very advantageous position. further back, let's have a look. These drivers are on fresh tires, 24 whole seconds behind Basil. Wow, that's not really what they wanted to see here tonight. Up front, what can Jishnu and VFix do? Perspectives are changed in Singapore. True that. That is the true way to go about it. And I'm doing that hand gesture as well. I know you can't see it, but yes, it is imperative that I do it. The hand gesture as well. Jishnu dives into the pit lane. That's a late call. Okay, that's a double lockup. I hope he gets a slow down in time. What's Jishnu going to do here? What is this Red Bull driver cooking up? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what he's trying to cook up here. Is he going to go into the hards or the softs? He is going on to the softs already. That is too early, I think. Even though, shoot, and he did run over some of his crew. So Jishnu has opted for the soft tires, which he will have to take 13 laps. I know that Shooter and Noble did that, but I don't think it's the right call. Exactly, Jim. He's on the medium, so this is a very... I don't want to be saying this, but it's a very Lando Norris-like call. It's the right strategy, but it's the wrong timing. Lap 16 would have been okay. I know you all were saying lap 18, but I think lap 16 would have also been okay. These extra laps on soft tires will not really do him any good, I think. Because even if right now he manages to catch up to Jishnu, catch up to Basil and VFix, he will lose the tire life that's available to him. His tires will run out of grip here. But let's see. I would like to see Jishnu prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Jishnu. Let's hope for that. And there you go. The field is now all spaced out, and we have a... dear. Is that a Lando level performance by Jishnu? Let's wait and see. He is in Max's car actually. That's a nice spot there. Or is he in the Checo car? No, he is in the Max car. Jishnu has set up purple sector too. So let's see. Shooter has stopped on the track. What happened there? Did his wheel disconnect or did something similar happen? Because that is very unlike Shooter. Let's have a look at him through this corner here. No, it is still him driving. So I think he just had a moment where his wheel disconnected or something. That's a very scary moment for Shooter, and I'm glad we were able to catch that on the camera. And yes, I think VFX will opt for that because that is the smartest call for them. These two have made the right strategy call tonight, VFX and Baz. Even if they pit now, they will still, and they can go on to either tire. They choose to go a little longer and go for the soft tires, that they could make that work. If they go right now into the mediums, they could make that work as well. Maybe not right now, they will pit around say lap 17 or 18 if they opt to do that, but it's just a matter of their personal preference in terms of tires. So let's see. It's a 24-second gap. I think if VFX pits now, he will come out around where Jishnu is, maybe right behind Jishnu. So I think VFX will definitely want to pit at some point during the remainder of these laps. But let's see. Stay hydrated, by the way, everyone. It's always good practice to stay hydrated. Basil is following his teammate. Still a Mercedes 1-2 for the time being. 16 laps into this amazing race, which has now become a bit of a question of who has chosen the right strategy. Shooter is having a time of his own. Jishnu with the fastest lap, so he is absolutely gunning for it. What can he do? I'm not entirely sure what he'll be able to do on those soft tires come the end of the race, because by the end of the race it will be troublesome. Yes, Shrikant, unfortunately there's a small lull right now that we are in, but we do have all 5 drivers, not all the drivers, we have 5 drivers still on track. We had all drivers on track till the end of lap 1. Unfortunately, as you can see that Abhishek has taken no further part in the session and he has retired. And we wait to see any possible strategy calls. So will we fix pit? for a fresh set of medium tires. Not on this occasion, he will not. Do they actually want to risk it, these two? Basil picks up the first penalty of the race. And he is struggling. So, I think what Basil should do, more than maybe Vifix needing to do it, Basil should pit for the medium tires. Because, should he? Actually, should he? Comments, please let me know. Rather, comments, sorry. Viewers, please let me know. What do you feel? Do you think that Basil should pit for medium tires, or should he just stay out? Mediums or softs, whatever he feels like, but should he make another pit stop? Oh, yellow flag! Yellow flag as Noble got us going backwards. That's a safety car and that's a reset to track. I'm sorry, Noble, for capturing that. And I've never noticed that, but the start-finish lights really glow up in a different way. And that is a safety car, which has nullified all the advantage that Vifix and Basil had over the rest of the field. Okay. And there you go. These two... Well, oh, that's the old start finish. I was wondering where Baz was because it looked like he was near the start finish straight. Well, he's on the old start finish straight. He was there. So, yes, everybody will opt for the soft tires. What will Jishnu do now? Will he want to change onto a set of mediums? Because I don't believe he has another set of softs left on the track. Yes, thank you, Noble. He's injected some new life into this. What would have otherwise been a bit of a dull end to the race. Vifix has immediately come into the pits. So has Basil. He is going a bit slow. Jishnu has to box. I agree, but will he go onto the mediums or the softs, Jen? Because I don't think he has a fresh set of softs on him. Let's have a look at what he does. Vifix on the mediums, mind you. Okay, so he is opting for the... Okay, so is Baz. So I think Jishnu will follow suit. So will Shooter and Noble. Noble has to box and Shooter will also box. So these two also coming into the pit lane. Jishnu onto a fresh set of soft tires. Alright. Shooter and Noble. What will these two do? So why is Noble going so slow? I'm not sure, because he is the only McLaren. He's the only driver who has the entire pit box to himself. All the others have to wait for their teammates to do the pit stop. And Shooter and Jishnu have gone for the soft tires. And what about Noble Garter? He is going to opt for another set of medium tires. So, not entirely certain which strategy will be perfect, because I think we will have another lap of safety car. Or will we? Will Noble be able to catch up on time to the back of the pack? Mind you, up front, the safety car is not going particularly fast. So it could be possible that Noble can catch up to the rest of the field, and we'll have racing at the end of this very lap, once the green flag drops at the end of this lap, rather. And Vifix, I think he is still in a great position, Vifix. Not so much for Baz, he has that penalty looming over his head now. So I think he might be able to get a warning or so removed if he chooses to do so. Because I think while he was battling with Vifix, he did go off track at Cops, if you remember. On, I think I want to say lap 10, but I'm not entirely sure, didn't take my word for it. And Noble going through the field, approaching the old start finish straight. These drivers are on the hanger straight, so I think it's going to be a stretch to have the safety car come in at the end of this lap. I think it will go another lap, as even Shooter's yet to catch up. So it's going to be close, but I don't think we're going to have the safety car in this lap. So Noble got the drivers given this race a breath of fresh air by unknowingly causing a safety car. Let's see what he can do. Shrikant, I think with the DRS, Jishnu might be able to do so, because he is on those soft tires. And mind you, the two Red Bulls have been very feisty. As we saw, they were very eager to battle one another as well. So they're not going to hold anything back. I think they're absolutely going to go for it. And Noble has just reached the final corner, and there you go, the rest of the field is just exiting the first corner. You can see the start-finish lights here, which I believe for the first time in these games do have a different palette compared to what they did in previous games when the safety car comes out. But nonetheless, we do have the final few laps of this race on our hands, and I just hope it's. Well, I'll not say anything. I say anything, it usually doesn't end that way. When I say Shrikant has Shrikant's choice here in the chat here. Let's see what he opts for. We will be eagerly waiting to see his choice. Jin has given him a real, well, mind teaser. What do you choose in that situation? They are P2 and P3 right now. So I think Shrikant has more of a history with the driver in P3 than he does with the homeboy, Basil in P2. So it is his home race, Baz. Will he be able to pull something out of the bag? Will he get somebody to throw him, what do you call it, drink from the pub? Maybe he'll be able to do that. Maybe he won't. Well, we'll find out. I think because at the end of this lap, as we come to the conclusion of Sector 2, the safety car will be in. And what is that in the background? Is that a very low render distance, as we can see in the background there, with the forests and such? Because I think the world just cuts out at that point. And is the safety car in this lap? It very much is. And once again, top left, guys, please see that. Feast and revel in the amazingness of the masters of code. It is imperative that the message must blink 5 times every single second to let you know that yes, it is actually happening. Safety car is coming in, and that there's a yellow flag. But we focus on the race right now, on the restart. What will VFX be able to do? Will Basil get a good restart? What about the Red Bulls? What about Noble Gata? We'll find out. It is lap 20 and the race has resumed. Basil is right on the back of his teammate. Everybody's tires will not be particularly in the perfect operating window right now. Will Basil go for a dive here? He may or he may not, but he's forced VFX to go a bit wide there, and that will cause him a bit of grief. And Jishnu is right there on the tail of the Merc, and the two Mercs are still going for it. Basil trying to go for a move around the outside with the help of battery. No DRS right now, mind you. And I think VFX will have them covered for the time being. But will Basil be able to put up an offense once again? He has taken the alternate line. They come so perilously close to making contact. And Jishnu trying to go for the move. They're side by side approaching cops. It's a Red Bull and a Merc approaching cops side by side. What's going to happen here? And they have got through side by side. So what real life F1 could not do, we have achieved here in THTRL. Amazing. And it's still going to continue on because we have the top 4 separated by nothing. Actually, the whole field is separated by just under a second, I think. As you can see, everybody is so eager to make moves, be feisty, but they're being smart about it. But I think Jishnu's a little more feisty right now. He has the tire advantage. He will likely go for a dive here, or will he? I don't think he will. He'll opt against it. I think Baz was tapped there by Shooter going into club chicane. And they're still so supremely close, all of them. And this is just fascinating. As Shooter, I think, has a little warning there. I think that's my assumption from what I saw. And Basil is so close, Jishnu is so close, Shooter's so close, and in all this, do not discount Noble Gata. He is still right there. Basil does not get the best run out of that corner, and he will be under threat from Shooter. DRS is open, so VFX will have a tough time holding back this chasing pack of drivers. Jishnu is gonna go on the offense immediately. He knows his car advantage will not last beyond these initial few laps. He has to make it work, and VFX has to hang on to that lead because he knows that should Jishnu get ahead, he will defend and he will want to retain his position as aggressively as he can. Basil has to hang on. He will drop places because of the penalty, but he still would like to limit his damage. He would like to do some damage limitation as much as possible. And Shooter just wants to make the most of those soft tires as well. As we go onto the hanger straight, what's going to happen here? Red Bull, Merc v Red Bull, v Merc v Red Bull v McLaren, and the Red Bulls made the move. Into the lead goes Jishnu 11C. Fantastic. With the help of DRS, he's made it stick, but VFX is known to be supremely feisty, as we have seen for ages now. He is one of the quickest out there, and he will not let Jishnu breathe easy. Basil is struggling by the looks of it. He's dropped a little bit of time to his teammate at the moment, and he is falling into the clutches of Shooter, he's got a fantastic run out of turn one, approaching the loop and such. He will attempt a move, or will he go for the switchback? I think he might go for the switchback here, which he will not be able to do because Basil covered the middle part of the track pretty well. But with the help of DRS, I think it's going to be a bit difficult. However, I think Shooter may be able to make this work. Will he? I don't think he'll be able to do this on this occasion. Bfix chasing after Jishnu. He wasn't able to get too close on this occasion. What about Baz? Can Baz gain some time on his teammate? He is falling back crucially and critically. That is not what he needs to do right now. He needs to pick up the pace and catch up to his teammate. That is what he needs to do. He needs to go pedal to the metal. Baz, I want you to remember all the pubs around your hometown and such. They are all rooting for you and waiting to see. They'll give you a nice beer and some fish and chips and whatever British people eat. I don't know what they eat, but he's fallen out of DRS. He still has DRS, so thankfully for him, there's a lifeline that's been thrown to him at the very last moment. Will Shooter go for a dive here? He will not. Shooter hangs back for the time being, and the hope here is that Baz is able to hang on to the back of the top two, and they made contact. They made contact, Shooter and Baz. Oh no! And I hope they don't. Neither of them have damage. But that has put Basil outside the DRS window, and he will certainly not have DRS on this lap. Shooter will have DRS because he is behind for the time being, and he's gonna go for the dive down the inside. Will Basil try to defend it? He will. He might go for a dive here. Who will get the better exit here? Out of the two, I think it is going to be Shooter, and Shooter will also get the DRS. Yes, he will. Basil will have to use some battery if he wants to stay with Shooter. And Noble Garter is he is just having a race of his own right now. He is not really in the picture for either battle right now. He's a bit too far back. I think his confidence has been shattered a little bit, as we saw there with the little snap correction there. Up front though, Vifix has not let Jishnu breathe easy whatsoever. He is hounding that Red Bull. And when a Merc chases a Red Bull at Silverstone, some very, very fond memories come to mind. Basil is now under threat from Noble Garter, and Noble will want to go for the move. Will he be able to make the move stick on this occasion? Up front, Vifix cannot do anything on this occasion, but he is very, very close. Will Shooter be able to catch up to Vifix and Jishnu, the battling duo? What about Baz and Noble Garter? Will they be able to stay as Baz absolutely mounts that curve? I don't think that's the ideal line through there, but nonetheless, we are on to lap 24 of 26, and look at Vfix. Look at this. He's just visibly faster at this point in time right now. Jishnu will want to defend it. Vfix will be definitely on the offensive. His tires aren't better, Nick, right now. Jishnu's tires are starting to run out of life. So one can only imagine what would have happened to Jishnu had he stuck with his original strategy of taking the soft tires for 13 laps. If on this, okay, side by side go the top two, and Vifix has to hang back for the time being. And look who's joining this little party here. It is Shooter, and right behind him is Basil, and right behind him is Noble Garter. So the top five once again in the same part of the racetrack, and the top five, the only five in the same part of the racetrack. That is absolutely fascinating and amazing to see. Jishnu has a huge DRS train right behind him. He will have to get the perfect exit out of Beckett's, and Woodcut onto the hangers, not Woodcut, sorry, onto the hanger straight they go. Vifix has DRS, has the battery, has the straight line speed, and he has made the move. Fantastic. Vifix retakes the lead of this British Grand Prix. What about Shooter though? What about Shooter and Jishnu? These two showed us some amazing battles earlier on. Will they be able to do something similar right now? We will begin the penultimate lap of the race with Vifix as the race leader. However, Jishnu is right there. With the help of DRS and Slipstream, it is really anyone's game here right now. Jishnu is still there. Jishnu has the pace. Will his tires support him to the end of the race? Only one way to find out. We will stay tuned to the end of the race. This is the penultimate lap. Shooter has been a little squirmy there through the first complex of corners. who has more battery. I will not pull up the exact values here, but I will. Okay, Noble got going for the. Okay, Noble has been spun, but he still carries on. Okay, wow, that's a heart and mouth moment for Noble Garter and for Baz. I think both of them were under threat for a moment. They're having both their races absolutely well and truly ruined, but they are still within DRS range of one another, and Baz is still within DRS range of Shooter. Up front, Jishnu and Bfix. So I am gonna break some protocol. I am gonna pull up the telemetry here just to see on this last lap who's gonna have the better battery here. As Jishnu has a lot of battery, Bfix does not. Shooter has an adequate amount of battery. Jishnu is right there. He is conserving. I think he wants to make the move on the final lap or maybe at a better point in the race. And Basil doesn't have too much battery, and Noble is also doesn't have much. So I'm gonna pull that back. So we have the last lap of the race in front of our very eyes. Jishnu has a little squirm there. He will want to do better come the DRS zones, and we start the last lap. Bfix has a lead of just 4/10. Will he be able to keep that up? We go through Aintree Farm Village, the loop, whatever this section of corners is called. I'm sorry, I can't really remember my names here. Jishnu will have DRS and he has the battery, as we saw there. So does Bfix. They have an equivalent amount of battery, as we could see from the dash there, and he's going to go for the move here. At least he's going to attempt it. Bfix will have to fight it, but he's going to go for the switchback here, Jishnu. And I think he might be able to make it stick, because Bfix will not get the perfect exit there. But mind you, now Bfix will get DRS down the hanger straight. So I don't think Jishnu has played this to absolute perfection. Shooter is right there. Should anything happen to these two, he's right there to pick up the pieces. Oh my word. Which one of them will get the DRS? I think it's going to be... Oh no! Oh, look at that! There's a Red Bull out of nowhere, and Shooter's got a penalty. They were side by side, the two Red Bulls, and that is not very ideal for Jishnu or for Shooter. Shooter's got the penalty. He's been spun. He's out of contention. It is a straight fight between Jishnu and Bfix, and I think Jishnu has been hampered a bit too much by that dive there. But he's still gonna go for the dive here. Bfix is unfazed. He will not be deterred. Will Jishnu go for a dive here at the very end? He will not. So I think this is Bfix's race. He has driven a very, very brilliant race, and as we come up across the start finish line, it is going to be Bfix winning the race from Jishnu. Noble Garter gets the penalty, gets the podium after Basil's penalty. Basil will finish P4 and Shooter will finish P5 at the end there. So a thrilling finish to a very entertaining race. So even though there were only 6 drivers, it was still a very, very good race, and Jishnu does get driver of the day, but he will be cross with his teammate. With his teammate's aggressive move there. Shooter will argue that he was entitled to fight for his space, and yeah, Noble out of nowhere. But it was great to see everybody battle at the very limit of whatever's possible, and at the end of it all, Bfix is the victor. He is on top, and he has come out of this race guns blazing, and the celebrations begin, and we have a look at it. So Jishnu did get the fastest lap of the race, mind you, only 4.5 hundredths ahead of Bfix. So that's something to keep in mind. Bfix does win the race, followed by Jishnu. Noble finishes P3 despite having a bit of a confidence hit after his spin, but he's still on the podium there. Baz with the penalty in P4, and Shooter with a penalty. Unfortunate for him that he had to lose it all at the end there, and Abhishek is our only DNF, and that is the end of this race. So I'm gonna get the drivers in for a quick interview here. That is Bfix, Jishnu and Noble Garter. Wow. I can see Jishnu. I've added them all to the party. Let's hope. I would like to hear from our top 3. Even a 6 driver race in realistic division is amazing. Who would have thought that? Absolutely, who would have thought that? But we wait for our top 3 to join in. We have Bfix, we have Jishnu, and we're waiting on Noble Garter. Yo. We are waiting for Noble, but meanwhile, I would just like to congratulate the 2 of you. And
I'm here, man.
Just a minute.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
pronto.
having some trouble here. But yes, Noble, are you here with us?
Yeah, hello,
Hey, Noble,
hello.
it's a P3 for you tonight. How was
Yeah,
it? How was it on
it was
track today?
pretty chaotic to be honest. Everyone was just fighting, and I didn't fight too much, but I had to like be behind and stay back and take advantage of others fighting and spinning. But yeah, it was a nice race, chaotic race. I didn't have any pace. This is my like second full race, so I have like no concept of the script, everything, but it was fine, I guess.
Well, you still did stay on track, and you were at the right place at the right time, Noble. You did get
Yeah,
P3
exactly.
at the end there, but we did see two major moments there for you. Just was it very difficult out on track today, given that you're saying this is your second proper league race? So how was it out on track for for you?
It was, I mean, on track, it was fine. And like when I make like a little mistake, that just burns like my confidence. So I just make more mistakes and be slower. But yeah, I had a few mistakes. A big one where I spun and turn four, turn five, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'll have to practice more, I guess.
Well, we will be eager to see how you get on with the rest of the game. And I think the McLaren was a nice car. Was it good to drive the McLaren today? No.
Yeah, it handled pretty well. The setup was also very nice. It was like very draggy, but in the corners it was very nice.
Well, that is good to hear. So, congrats, Noble. Well done. And congrats on the P3. Good thing.
Thanks.
And do we have Jishnu with us? Jishnu,
Yo, chips, what's up?
Jishnu, it is P2 for you at the end.
Yeah.
So close to P1. How does it feel for you?
It was good race to be honest. Close racing. Even though it was like five people, hopefully there were more to battle. But yeah, it was pretty fun. You know, good practice also. I think yeah, quali was shit for me. The last sector I was losing time a lot to these guys. But yeah, I think the first two sectors was good. So I was happy with quali. In the race, yeah. I wanted to let VFix go because of the DRS thing, but then uh, shooter just poked his nose at the end, uh, which I had to hold. Otherwise, could have got P1, I guess.
Did that affect your run on the last lap, Jishnu?
Yeah, it did because I had to like hold it on the outside because shooter was getting a good run.
For a moment, I did think that you were gonna go for that almighty dive on Vitix, but you did play it
Yeah, I was
safe.
going. Yeah, I had to go for any move I can, but I didn't want to risk too much also. I tried, but then he held pretty well on the outside, so I just left it.
But those were some great battles, Vishnu. It was a treat to watch, and at some point in the race, I really just forgot that it was five drivers. You all were all so
Yeah.
closely matched. It was beautiful to watch. That was some fantastic racing. So
Thanks.
thank you very much for that, and well done on the PT. I know you're not particularly happy with P2. It could have been P1, but well, keep pushing. Let's keep hoping for better.
Yeah. Thank you.
And now, the man of the moment, VFix. Hello,
Hello.
VFix.
Hello.
Another day, another win. But I think this time you actually had to properly work for it. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, the race was won in mostly won in like qualifying itself. The cars like all have such equal pace. You need that track position, and yeah, the luck. Thank you, shooter, for letting me latch all the way onto the back of you. I think you gained 6 tenths with that in my quali lap. So definitely on merit wasn't the best lap, and this is my weakest circuit as well. Historically, Silverstone, I suck at Silverstone, so getting pole is always a good surprise. And yeah, after that race, went on that hard tire gamble in the first safety car, which ended up being correct. So I thought I was gonna coast, kind of like 2020 Hamilton, but had to get the elbows out at the end. And I was trying really hard not to overtake Jishnu really at the end there because I knew that he was gonna come back. And if Shooter wasn't there, I probably would have just held, like, I would have just slowed down as much as possible and all the way until the last lap. But because Shooter was there, I had to overtake him the lap before. And in the end, that ended up working out because then Jishnu and Shooter had their little thing. But all in all, it was like really clean. I think not that this game's contact model, you can't feel anything, so you actually have to ask the other person physically whether, because we're realistic game. Yeah, that was fun. And I'm happy that this league lets us race, unlike a certain other one. They'll wish they had clean racing like this, bozos.
Well, nonetheless, Dipix, it's a great performance by you, and well done. Congratulations to you.
Thanks.
And with that, I think we'll conclude the event for tonight. So thank you all the viewers. A lot of interaction today in the comments. We love to see it as always. Thank you everyone. Thanks to all the drivers who took part today. We hope to see more attendance. I know the interest is really dwindling and not much for F124, but it's still
I
always
think this race should serve as the perfect advert for it. Like the game might be bad, but like maybe the real game is the friends we make along the way and the sofas we buy.
Yes, the sofas we buy, and of course the octagonal lighting that we have to purchase for our kitchen sink specifically. Many things that we must think about, but nonetheless we are here and we hope to see some better turnout for the next races. But until then, thank you everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We shall be back very soon with the next race. Until then, thank you. Take care. Good night and bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.